been southbound, I've been hellbound, riding on the midnight train. Going too fast now.
What's going on, guys? Tristan and Tony here with the Zero Duck 30 podcast. So if you've been following us for a while, you know, for all of our hunt planning and GPS and all that good stuff, we use the Huntwise app. Tony, why don't you tell everybody what the Huntwise app's allowing us to do for our followers?
Hey, guys, enter code DUCK30, 20% off Pro and Elite versions. That gives you access not only to some unbelievable mapping software, but you're going to get involved in a social media piece, and you're going to get access to hundreds of manufacturers, some incredible, crazy discounts. So check them out.
Alrighty, guys. So today we're super excited. We got on Zane from Loaded Timber Waterfowl. And Zane, why don't you give everybody a little bit of your background and kind of, how Loaded Timber came about and what you guys are all about.
All right, will do, man. Hey, just before I start, I just thank you all for allowing me to be on here and asking me to be on here. It's always a privilege to get to talk hunting with other guys that have the same mindset. So I'll dive right into that. So I guess I started hunting, as far back as I can remember. My great grandpa's hunted, my grandpa, my dad, my brother, they were all in it. And I guess I was just born into it. It was just in the blood. So I grew up over here in East Texas, shooting birds and either, open water, just buckbrush sloughs, timber, stuff like that, mainly mallards, and all that. And just, grew up around the old guys that were going out there to have fun, shoot the shit and shoot some birds. And always have the same respect for the other hunter that they didn't even know as they did for their best friend sitting beside them.
That's awesome.
So that's the background as far as hunting goes for me. I've done it my whole entire life. As far as Loaded Timber goes, I met Dylan Hooker about 6 years ago, 6 or 7 years ago, one of the two. I don't know. It's all running together now. But met him, and we kind of clicked right off the bat. Meeting, we actually met. The first time I ever shook his hand was the morning before we shot a 6-man limit on opening day of Texas. So wow. I had found some birds, and I called one of my other buddies at the time, and I was like, "Hey, man, I got 2 guys with me. We probably need a few more shooters." And he's like, "Oh, I can get it." I said, "There's a lot of birds in there, so we need is at least 6, 7 guns." And he's like, "All right, yeah, I can round up a couple guys." Well, Dylan was one of them, and met him, and like I said, we kind of clicked. We both kind of understood each other. Like, we both knew kind of about, all right, well, this guy kind of knows what he's talking about. This guy knows what he's doing a little bit. And we kind of just made friends instantly and continued to talk, outside of the mutual friend that introduced us. And then we started hanging out more and hunting more together and scouting more together, and started realizing, like, all right, well, yeah, we both kind of have the same mindset about this and know what each other's thinking. So that friendship grew and grew and grew to where it is today. And then 3 years ago is when it started. Like, our public land in this area kind of started getting crowded and kind of getting, out of hand and disrespectful. And people would pull in 30 minutes before shooting time, and they would set up, 150 yards away from you, 100 yards away from you. And I mean, wow. I don't care who you are. That ain't never going to work
right
on public land trying to hunt the same birds. So that's kind of where we were like, man, we kind of need to try to do something to fix this. And then I guess the next year we were like, all right, yeah, we've had enough. Let's try to do something, make a brand, and try to make an impact on the younger generation that's coming up. And, if we can have an impact on 1 or 2 kids, then those 1 or 2 kids can go have an impact on 1 or 2 others of their buddies. And then, so forth. And just, I guess it just kind of has that what's that effect I'm looking for? The word I'm looking for.
Snowball effect.
Yeah, the snowball effect there. Then that's kind of where we came up with the idea, and it kind of just blossomed into what it is, today, as far as doing the youth and veteran hunts, and then just kind of answering any kind of questions, DMs that we get, and trying to reach out to people that, we also believe in, and everything like that. Just trying to get everybody on the same page as far as duck hunting goes,
Yeah. No, that's awesome, man. And that's something that we think about a lot. Like, Tony was bringing up a good point the other day. Like, the baby boomer generations kind of, you know, the people that you were saying you know, grew up hunting with, those people are starting to either get too old where they can't hunt or die or whatever. And it's like, if we're not there to our generation, you know, to like put out a positive message for people even younger than us, it's just going to kind of go by the wayside. So that's awesome.
Yeah, there's a big gap.
Absolutely.
There's a big gap, a huge gap of people there. And I've always said that, you know, you can't fix stupid, you know, you can't, and you're just going to get those stupid ones every once in a while. But the norm is that honestly, if you were out there on that public land and you ran into 5 guys in a row that set up on your swing birds, you know, or something like that, more than likely, the majority of them just don't know any better.
Yeah,
exactly.
And you're better off to, at least after the hunt, you know, go, hey guys, I'm not trying to tell you what to do, but I do want to try to help you be more successful. And like you said, Zane, and just have a positive impact and teach them the right rules.
Exactly. That's really where we're trying to come from it on. Like we don't, I guess, I don't know. We don't try to come off like arrogant, you know, I guess like you were saying, trying to say it in a positive way, but like sometimes it can be taken that way because you're kind of like, hey guys, like this isn't going to work for anybody, you know, like if you're trying to call and shoot at the same birds that are working our spread, that's not going to work for anybody because eventually they're going to get tired of being called at and they're just going to go on their merry way. And I mean, it's not good for anybody in the long run. And like you said, you know, they more than likely don't know. And then also the thing of if they come in late, if we have room, like why not just hunt with us, you know? And that's always the best thing to do in my opinion. But for sure, you know, sometimes that doesn't work out. So sometimes you just have to be like, hey man, like you said, next time, just, you know, I'm not trying to tell you what to do, but it would work out better in your favor and probably everyone else's favor if you just, you know, moved about at least 300 yards away.
Right. Yep. No, and that's the thing is there's just so many people that are excited about the sport. They're just jumping in because they just see it, you know, they see, just like me, you know, one of the first videos I pulled up was a loaded timber waterfowl video. And, you know, I'm older guy, so I'm slower to the social media and stuff, you know, everything seems to move at lightning speed. And and me as an older guy, I feel like I'm not that old guy, you know, where they go, well, he doesn't know what he's doing, you know?
Yeah, you're pretty good.
Yeah, I'm pretty good. But then again, I'm not because I saw you guys' video and I called Tristan and I go, dude, have you seen these loaded timber waterfowl guys? And he goes, yeah, Dad. And I was like, damn.
Well, yeah, because I'd been following y'all for a minute. Like, I remember, like, the page, I was just looking yesterday, like, y'all had around, like, 8,000 followers when I first started following you, and now I saw you guys are up, like, over 20, so that's awesome.
Wow, good for you.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. I don't know how that happened, honestly. Like, it just happened so fast. But, I mean, you know, I think more so than anything, the growth is more like attributed to the giveaways, and I think the more like how personable we are on there, like just if people tag us in something, you know, and it's duck related or waterfowl related, period, I try to put it on the story, and I definitely always comment on it and like it. But you know, I'll have a conversation with a brick wall. So I mean, I kind of think that helps, you know, build a relationship with people that try to reach out. Cause you know, some people tell me like, oh, well, that guy didn't even, you know, message me back, or he just left me on scene, or he, you know, quote unquote, big league me or something like that. And I mean, that's never going to be anything like I am. I don't ever understand that. Like if somebody's coming to you that they look up to you enough to ask you questions, like how can you not just take the 5 minutes out of your day to send a reply back, you know?
That's a good point.
That is a good point.
And that's the first thing that came to mind that I was going to say about you guys is you guys are very personable, and I just through the Loaded Timber page and then your guys' personal pages, you guys are all really good about just interacting, it seems like, you know? Yeah.
Well, I mean, we all kind of have the same mindset going into this, you know, when we started it. And now it's all just kind of, you know, unconscious competence now, like to where when something's posted, we automatically know like, okay, well, yeah, let's make sure we push that a little bit, say something about it. Or, you know, if any, like Dylan will call me and be like, hey man, do you know this guy? He messaged me. And I'm like, oh yeah, I talked to him the other day, and he's like, well, oh, okay, well, he was just asking me a few questions. I was just wondering if he had talked to you yet. And I was like, oh, yeah, he's talked to me. I told him to go holler at you or Cody or somebody, you know, or Lana. And it's one of those things like I guess that really is what it is we're personable. Like you said, we talk to people and, you know, Lana hits me in the side all the time when we're out doing something in public. She's like, you need to shut up. Like, you talk too much. And I'm like, you know, okay, my bad. I'm trying to be friendly. My bad.
I know, right? Oh, dude, that's funny. But yeah, man, that's really cool. And so with your guys' social media, do you guys kind of all like split taking care of that stuff? Like you're all managers on the accounts and stuff, or?
No, it's just me. I have the account. I do all that on there. Dylan's real busy. Cody's always busy. I like to take the time out and do it anyways.
Sure.
And they know that. My job is kind of a bit more laid back, and then me and Cody are partnered in a business, and I'm kind of hands off on that right now. And Cody's all day-to-day operations and everything. And I have a little bit more downtime. I'm working in Mississippi right now. I'm an inspector on pipeline. So when I'm at work, I kind of have free time to kind of roam on my phone and do what I want.
Sure. So
I kind of just took the liberty to be like, hey guys, I'll do it. You know, I know most of y'all are busy and have stuff going on, and it honestly is time consuming. If you know, if you're on there doing it the way, you know, you got to run a brand's page, I mean, it's time consuming. So yeah. I just, you know, I took it upon myself and I was like, hey guys, you know, and they were all like, yes, that's perfectly fine. So
yeah, man, it's a lot. We were talking to Stevie from Mojo about this a couple weeks ago when she was on the podcast, and she was like, yeah, it's like and you know, obviously they got 220,000 followers or whatever. There's a huge a TV show and all kinds of stuff, but she said she does all of that stuff. She has her hand in all of it, and she's like, it's a 24-hour a day job.
Yeah.
No, I believe it.
Yeah. So
I can only imagine having something that big. I mean, I feel like 4 people running it, and well, I don't know, Mojo's probably way bigger than 4 people. Don't get me wrong on that. I'm just saying I couldn't imagine having to add more people and have that much stress on top of it, you know. I mean, it'd be awesome to have, but I mean, at the same time, it's kind of like, wow, like that's impressive that they're able to do all that, you know.
I know, man. It's sometimes I gotta like check out like for a weekend or something, because I'm like, dude, I like social media like that for what we do, but like on a personal level, I don't like it like that. So I'm just sometimes I got to check out.
No, I completely understand. Trust me.
Well, and then the other thing is from, you know, when we look at ourselves from just a user standpoint, you know, you're out there looking just for your own personal benefit, you know. We're still duck hunters, you know, and we're still out there trying to figure out a better way to call or a spread I hadn't set up before, or an advantage I could get here or there from an expert, you know. And
exactly.
And you got to sometimes sit back and realize that, hey man, don't lose track of what makes it fun, you know, and take care of those personal needs, you know. So
absolutely.
I'm sure you guys, I mean, like I was talking about earlier, you know, I was like, hey, Tristan, check out Loaded Timber Waterfowl. You know, that is exactly that first video, and I can't remember the name of it. I apologize, but
was it were we in the trees, dead trees?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, that was a couple years ago.
Yeah. And when I saw that, it really, when you're sitting there talking, Zane, it was like everything you just talked about was in that video, you know.
Oh man!
And that's what, you know, got me interested, and just on a personal level in Loaded Timber Waterfowl, you know. So fun to watch, man. Fun to watch. So,
well, I appreciate that.
I want to know, and this wasn't on the outline, so I apologize, but how hard is it to put a video out?
How hard is it?
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, the only stress on us on that side of things is to make sure we put the birds in front of whoever we're paying to run the camera and do the editing.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's really it, honestly. Like I'm honestly, I think that is the only stress. Like now, granted, leading up, I'm a nervous wreck. Like you can ask Lana. Like
I should have been more specific. That's where I'm coming from.
yeah, like a week leading up to it, I'm on, my apps. I'm looking at my pins. I'm game planning. I'm looking at the weather. How far out, which way the wind's supposed to be blowing. And when I say supposed to be, I mean weathermen suck.
Right.
So I'm game planning in my head a week out. And I'm like, all right, we got to do this. We got to do this. We got to do this. I got to capture. Get them to capture. These deliverables at this time and do all this and take these pictures. And then I got to make sure that we're also getting birds to put on content and everything like that. So, I mean, it's, you're right. You got to take those personal days, like you said, to kind of recharge and be like, hey, why am I doing this? Cause I actually like to do it. At that point, it feels like it's a job when it's not a job, you know? And I think that's the hardest part for us on our end of the video is the leading up to it. When you're in the moment doing it and everything's working out the way it should, it allows you to kind of kick back and be like, oh, this is great.
It is. It is.
Go ahead.
No, you can go. I was just going to, restate.
Oh, I was just saying, you brought up a good point on like, kind of the way you said it was a little different, but like a checklist kind of even if you have somebody doing the filming, it's like, hey, we got to get these angles and this kind of shots, because if not, then you don't tell the whole story, and it's hard to kind of remember, especially when, if you're on public land or whatever, and, depending on the state you're on, it's like, okay, 4 a.m., take off, and it's like hectic, and you're trying to remember to get certain things. It's a lot.
Well, and I think we've all been there, especially when we got started, is, you get done and maybe the hunt's over, let's say, and hindsight's 20/20, right? And you look back and you go, man, we messed up. It's like, man, it's like sometimes, Tristan and I earlier this season, it hit me on the way we were, doing that drive, we're heading to Arkansas again, we're doing this 10-hour drive, and we were down, man. I mean, we felt like our asses had been kicked on the first split, and because there's all the hype going into opening, seeing everybody smoking them, and guess what? 0 Duck 30 is not. All right, except for
man,
Drew.
Arkansas is tough.
It is, and except for Drew, he was smoking the sea ducks, and we should have listened to him and went with him. But but the thing is that you're going through and you're trying to do everything right, and you get done, and in that moment, I told Tristan, I go, man, dude, we need to really refocus on our like you said, your deliverables, that B-roll, what makes us who we are. It's that funny stuff around the campfire, it's the whatever, it's the jokes in the blind, it's the dance.
It's the lifestyle.
It's the lifestyle, exactly. So it's interesting how that really does tie into our personal but yet professional, and still trying to have fun and show that to people,
Absolutely. Yeah, no doubt. You're right about that. I mean, it is hard to incorporate because sometimes you're just in the moment not thinking about it, but when it does help to have outside people that you're paying to film, because then to them, they're not like laid back, and then it's not like me trying to do it where I'm probably not thinking about it in the moment. Whereas if you're paying somebody, that camera's in their hand at all time, and they're getting everything. Right. So it's kind of easier to get the B-roll, because I don't know. Do y'all do all y'all's in house? I'm pretty sure y'all do, right?
Well, so last year we kind of took a half and half kind of approach. Like on 3 of our hunts, we had a guy that came and filmed with us. I still did all the editing and stuff in house, but basically, just used him as a contractor basically for the film work. And still gave him credit and stuff for all that stuff. But we kind of just partnered on that stuff, and the other stuff we just GoPro, iPhone, DIY.
Yeah, we did. We did. We might be. If we didn't have a cameraman, we might be setting up, say, 3 or 4 different angles on the GoPros and having the DSLR going. And sometimes you just gotta, I told Tristan, I said, hey, for whatever reason, we didn't have a filmographer for this hunt. Guess what? step down. It's not your
Yeah.
time to hunt. It's time to video, you know?
Yeah.
And it's just part of what it is, you know? And that's fine because, you know, us as hunters that are really into this, and I know you guys are too, Zane, is that we get so much more satisfaction out of even showing the success of everybody else or seeing somebody else be successful than we do just picking up our gun and shooting one ourselves.
For sure.
You know?
Yep. Yep.
And so that's the trade-off for me. Like if I have to be doing the filming that day, I'm like, all right, well then I'm going to do the best I can to try to show this to people, you know, and be an artist with it, you know?
Yeah. And I mean, that was one issue we had in our group. Like we actually had arguments about this. Because I told them straight up. I looked at them and was like, you know, when we were talking at first, and I was like, man, I can't put the gun down. There's no way I'm going to be able to put the gun down. Like I can't do it. Because I'll put it this way: if it's any other duck besides a greenhead, and I have people hunting with me, I can say kill it and feel nothing about it.
Mhm.
Like I can say, hey, kill him, and I don't even have to pull the trigger. But the moment that one lone greenhead comes in, and I got a kid right beside me that wants to shoot a greenhead. And I mean, I'm just being honest here. Like something about a greenhead to me is just that's my kryptonite, I guess.
That's perfect.
It's so hard for me to not pick my gun up and be like, hey man, kill him. It's so hard because I mean, and that's just me just messing around, honestly, because I'd let a kid shoot one. I'd let a kid shoot one over me any day. But
Right.
I'm just saying, like, there's something in me that I can't put the gun down. And Dylan was like, oh no, I'm the same way. And Cody was like, yeah, no, same here. And we kind of all looked at Lana, and Lana was kind of like, well, I don't really want to put the gun down either. But so then it all just came to a consensus of, okay, well, do we want to pay then? And everybody was kind of like, yeah, I'd rather do that, honestly. I was like, none of us know anything about editing. None of us know anything about cameras. Like, yeah, we can learn, but it's going to be a process of 5 to 6 years. And right now we would rather get, going on the brand side of things to start helping and promoting youth and veteran hunts and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So in the long run, it's better to just pay somebody right now, and then maybe later on, after learning it a few years, then kind of start doing it on our own. But until then, we just took the process of, it's probably just better to pay somebody and hope for the best on that.
Well, the stuff you've been doing with the Joel Jones guy, I've been seeing.
Oh man,
he is incredible, man.
Oh, that dude's filthy with the camera.
Crazy, man. Like y'all's TikToks lately have been stupid. I'm like, dude, this is so good.
Man, he put 2 reels together for me because we were supposed to have a Texas video without saying too much about that because that's not a good thing right now. And I have, it's nothing to do with Dust Devil. It's nothing to do with Square Mile Us. It's the people that we were paying that were supposed to do the video, which Joel's not a part of that. Joel held up his end of why he was there, which we haven't got. It was supposed to be like a 20-25 minute video. We shot like 11 cranes the first day. Then we shot an 11-man of cranes. Then we shot an 8-man of little geese. And then we shot a 16-man of little geese.
Wow.
And that was all on camera. And we were supposed to have like a 25-minute video of that. And now the guy that was supposed to do it, I haven't even heard from him. Nothing. So
wow.
that's a letdown. But
Sure.
Joel had 2 terabytes of footage from that.
Wow.
So he, being the guy he is, being cool and a great guy, he put together, 2 of those TikToks for us and 2 videos I've put on our Instagram. And those 2 things are like the one with the Boondock Saints talking over it. That one is so filthy.
Is that the one where they're like something about like guns pointed at us or whatever?
Yeah. That's the Boondock Saint one. Yeah,
that was so sick.
Yeah, he's seriously one of the best in the game right now as far as videography goes. And I mean, everybody knows him for photography, but he's done video forever. He never released anything, he told me, because he was like, man, I'm one of those people that if it's not absolutely perfect, I don't like people to see it. And then I'm pretty sure that video he did for us last year at the start of the year in October was his first real like full length video to put out. And it was great. I mean, I thought it was great. That's just me being biased, I guess. But I was like, man, this is awesome.
Hell yeah.
But he's great, man. And then I think we made the right decision on that end, because I know I'm just being honest. I know with the way all of us are when it comes to shooting birds, putting the gun down and picking the camera up for one of us would have been detrimental to, I think, the hunt and the morale around us, because somebody wouldn't have been happy they had a camera and not a gun.
Yeah.
Right. Well, one thing we've gotten pretty lucky with is that, when we got into this and we're talking about the editing side, that was definitely one of the things that I kind of forecasted as being expensive, or it's going to take quite of an investment, and Tristan just picked it up like he'd been riding the horse all his life, and we've gotten really lucky in that regard. He picked up the Adobe Premiere Pro, and it just kind of took the bull by the horns, and I was like, well, you know what? Good Lord sometimes blesses you. And I'm going to be blessed with my son with this ability. And so we've gotten lucky on that regard, for Tristan to be able to understand that and be able to do those things. But, man, there's nothing more satisfying, though, is there, that you anticipate that hunt, you anticipate what's going to happen because you've worked so hard to put everybody in a position for success, and it all gets captured. Mm-hmm. And you're able to show that to people. I think it's the fuel for what we do, right? Isn't it?
Absolutely. And I'll tell you this too, though. That is the best feeling, but the worst feeling is, that video you're talking about where we're in the dead trees and we shot like 14 mallards or something. Mm-hmm. The day before that, in the same hole, Dylan and 4 other guys shot a 5-man of mallards out of that spot right there. Oh. And we didn't get it on camera because the camera guy was with me, and we had a spot that was loaded, and we had people come in 30 minutes before shooting light and set up 50 yards from us in a buckbrush slough. Oh. And they were blowing their calls. They were doing everything. And these birds wanted to be right where we were. And it ruined the whole morning. We only shot 6 birds and we saw 500 birds. And it was one of those like that. That was one of the times it got messed up. And then I guess that it's such a good feeling to be like, oh yes, we got this hunt. But then, man, we missed the one that was even better.
Yeah, no, we had the same thing happen to us on the second weekend of the openings, the first split last year. And, we definitely got the hole we wanted and everything, but it was just overpressured, man. And like Dr. Duck says, there are no hidden secrets on public land, and
absolutely not.
And it's just one of those things, I mean, numerous times we have 50 birds breaking into our hole, and all we knew, dude, just shut up. And just let them fall, and then we got guys next to us, bah, 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 and you're just like, shoot, but that's public land for you,
It's part of it. It's part of the game.
It is. It is part of the game. You're right.
For sure.
And I think last year, we shot a good amount of birds with Joel filming, and then he had to leave on the day that we shot like 33 and another band. But then the next morning was the best hunt of the whole trip, and he wasn't there to capture it. So it was like one of those things of like, man, this was awesome and great, but Joel wasn't here to get it. I think we shot like 70 mallards in a band that next morning too.
Wow.
And it was Lana's first band too, so she didn't even get that on camera.
Wow.
Dang.
Hey, I got a curveball question for you. It just came to mind, Zane. Uh-huh. And I think it's because we deal with it too, when you guys are out there and you got the fire in line, you and all the buddies, right?
Yeah.
And here comes all these ducks falling in the hole, and everybody starts smoking them. I want to know, where do you guys start deciphering whether that's my duck, I shot that duck, that's my band, I smoked that duck? I mean, there's obvious situations, but there's a whole lot of situations that are not obvious, Yeah. And I want to know, what do you, I mean, have you guys tackled each other in the water and fought over a band? I want to hear about some of this, because I know it happens. I know it does. It does with us.
So I think we do. If it's single greenheads coming in, we take turns. So luckily, Lana's was actually one of those that it was a single greenhead coming in. So it was another buddy's turn, and his gun clicked. Well, when his gun clicked, the bird kept falling and landed like yards in front of Lana. She pulled up, shot it. Nice. So that one wasn't hard to decipher.
Right.
But then I think that we've all hunted together long enough that we all know that we shoot our lanes, and we all know we're really good shots. So if Dylan says, yeah, I shot at that bird too, and it folded, then me and him would be like, okay, well, we're just going to draw for it. Whoever gets it, gets it.
Right.
And then at the end of it, somebody's going to just go and buy a replica band. But, I mean, just honestly. But I don't know that we've ever. Oh well, I take that back. I wasn't there that morning, but I know Dylan has had an argument over a band before. Just I wasn't there. So that I don't know if we really ever have any of those kind of problems, to be honest. I think it's more of problems of if a bird gets out, like, hey, what are you doing? Like,
Yeah.
then that's kind of where the problems start, honestly, I think. Because I mean, at the end of the day, if I think I shoot, a banded bird and Dylan says he shot it and then he draws it, I'm just gonna be like, all right, well, I'll just spend $30 to get a replica band. That's fine, because I know I shot it.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Right.
no issue. But I think it's more in the fun of messing with each other about it. Like whoever draws it and gets the real band, and the other person gets. I think that's more of where the shit talking comes into play.
For sure.
Absolutely,
And-
man.
Yeah. Hey man. Enjoy your fake band.
Yeah. Man, the ducks getting away or like out of the hole or whatever, that's one that gets me. Like there's been a couple, like our buddy Drew, that he's been in a lot of our videos and stuff. He had some parasite in his eye a couple years ago, so he couldn't see out of his left eye.
Mhm.
And
Oh
like
my gosh.
yeah, so it was like it ended up clearing up and all this, but it's
And
out
of course, we're like, well, that's not your aiming eyes, so don't make any excuse.
Yeah. So we're out there duck hunting in Florida, dude, and like I got it on, or he had it on video on his GoPro. Like these two teal, like are weird. I mean, they probably went 3 feet over his head, just beelining right at him. And me and my dad are like, Drew, did you not see those? He's like, no.
Yeah, he goes, what? He goes, I never saw him come in. And so we went back and looked at the footage, and it's like he's staring at him in slow motion for as far as you could see until they whiffed his face.
Yeah.
I mean, and he's like, oh, I didn't see him, I was like, yeah, okay. Yeah. But isn't that the fun part about it, though, because
It is,
we all have those slow days. Last year we were down on public land in Florida, and I just, leading up to that hunt, it was like I could use a mirror and look behind me with a shotgun and smoke ducks. I couldn't miss. I couldn't miss. And we go down there, me, Drew, and Tristan, and we hunt a bunch of ringnecks and teal and stuff. And you would have thought that I had a blindfold on the whole morning, I mean, it was just, and I was like, dum, da, dum, dum. I was like, yep, don't talk shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My dad told me a long time ago, one morning when I was killing him fishing. This is aside from duck hunting, but it's true in all aspects. I was killing him fishing. I mean, I'm talking about I caught 40 fish. He probably ain't even got a bite. I'm making fun of him. I'm making fun of him. He looked at me and started laughing. He said, son, that's fine. Talk all you want. That hummingbird ass will overload that hippopotamus mouth. And he said, next time you won't catch a thing. And sure enough, for about the next 15 or 20 times, I didn't catch a single thing. So that kind of goes for everything. You talking all, you feeling all big and bad when you're shooting, his own and everything. And then the next 3 times you go, you're going to be shooting blanks. That's one of those humbling moments where you're like, all right, yeah, I'll just shut up next time.
Right.
Oh yeah.
I got a bad box of shells.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think they put any steel in these.
Yeah. Some humble pie right there.
I'm going to start
Yeah.
shooting bismuth.
Yeah.
That's got to be what it is.
It's got to be.
But
That is one of those good things. That is fun because it's like when you're on and you're talking that smack, and then when you're off and you're getting the smack talk, it's the going back and forth,
mhm.
It is.
Absolutely, man. So, kind of switch gears. What's new for Loaded Timber this year? Whether it be, apparel y'all are working on or video plans, or what do you guys got coming up?
Well, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 or 5 different designs right now that we're waiting to release just
Mhm.
later on in the summer, because we're going to do hoodies and more other shirts. But
Mhm.
I'm actually working on another website for us right now. I suspended the other one This one's going to be way easier to navigate through everything.
Nice.
We're guiding next year in Northwest Oklahoma.
Nice.
And we've made some big moves up there with some landowners and some of the people we've met, and we've got some good things coming up there in the next few years. We were a little late to plant corn this year, but we got some other stuff, and that we're gonna be on some birds for some people, whoever wants to come hunt with us. But the website's gonna be, all the merch, all of our YouTube and social medias are going to be linked. We're going to focus a lot more on YouTube this year, and kind of put, all the other social medias kind of not neglect them and put them on the back burner, but YouTube is going to be our main focus of getting, more like, I guess, tip videos out there, like, 2 minute to 3 minute short videos of, hey, next time you're hunting, every day is different. Look for this on this day, with this cloud cover or sun or this wind, and see how the birds react and watch the bird behavior. And if they're not liking this, try this. And if they're not liking that, then try this. And then kind of just try to help more so on the YouTube side of things when it comes to tips. That way, if people like have a question and they don't feel like messaging us because they're like scared we won't message them back or something, all you gotta do is go to our YouTube and be like, oh, well, they've already answered that question, let me watch this video.
That's a good point.
So we're gonna focus on that, and then we're gonna focus on I think we're gonna try to get out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like 8 or 9 videos, like 7+ minute videos. And then we're also going to try to do 2 or 3 reels a week that are like, really well put together. But we've also got a guy that is coming on board with us for 40 days this season that we are paying to do all the video and film work. And the dude is amazing. I'm not going to say his name right now because I don't know if he's told people that yet.
Right.
But we're doing a contract with him. He's amazing, man. Like the dude is. His edits, I know you've seen his edits. Not in it, it's not Joel, obviously. Yeah. Joel does his own thing. Joel's amazing, and we'll always work with Joel. But this guy, I know you've seen his edits. I don't want to say his name, but he's something serious, and he's gonna help. I think he's gonna help us out a lot. We're gonna help him out a lot. It's gonna be mutually beneficial.
Nice.
And then I think, well, we're doing the youth and veteran hunt again up in the Northwest in September. Then we're going to do a vet day up there in Northwest Oklahoma where, we let veterans come and hunt for free for one day.
Nice.
Then
and
we're going to try to put together.
What day is that? I'm just
be,
messing with you, man. I'm a veteran, so I'm already.
Oh, well,
I'm trying to get an inside deal here and trying to. All right, so since I heard free, I'm like, excuse me, let's stop the podcast and have a talk about this.
Yeah, I didn't know you were a veteran. Thank you for your service. Yeah. But yes, absolutely. Tristan has my number. All you got to do is give him a number, and I can get you penciled in on that. No issue.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
And then we're going to try to put together a youth thing, there at the end of season, but it's so hard to get youth parents to let their youth like come and hang out with some guys from the internet, So
the way you said that.
Well, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
It's one of those things.
Bro,
like, hey, Mom,
that's
can I go duck hunt with these guys I met on the internet?
Yeah.
And their parents are kind of like, bad things happen to people that go do things with people on the internet, right?
Yeah.
So it's hard, but we've got a few kids that we know and that are in our families, and then some other kids that we actually do know. So, I mean, we're going to try to put it together. It's hard trying to get everybody on the same schedule, especially in the end of January. Everybody's going back to school from, break and everything like that. So it's kind of a hectic time of year, but
for sure.
We do at our guide service, we do allow kids that are 12 and under to hunt free. We're not going to charge somebody that's 12 and under. They're more than welcome to come, and hell, if you're a dad with 4 kids that are under 12 and you want to get them in the outdoors, and you want a place to start of letting tips and everything else, we're there and we're open to all of it. So that's really what's new for us this year coming. But other than that, we're just the same old, average Joe East Texans that like to shoot green-headed birds.
That's awesome stuff,
So
man.
I heard that and I guess it can be like this anywhere, but I've heard y'all can have some pretty good teal hunts out there.
Man,
for early teal. Talk about that.
It's more south of us where we're at. Because we had 3 years in a row where our early teal hunting was actually really good. And that's the only, like I said, I've hunted since I was 3. Like Dad carried me to the boat and not picking me up out of the boat until we get back to the boat ramp.
Nice.
But the only good teal seasons I can remember was 2014, 15, 16. And then after that, man, it's you get a couple, but it's not enough to actually go out and say, yeah, man, we're gonna have a slaughter fest of teal,
Right.
this morning. It's one of those things. It's like we'll hope for the best. We want to go and all that, but
Mhm.
I will say there is one spot, but now it's all draw, so I can say it. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's called Richland Chambers. It's down here south of us, and it's like a race. So it's kind of like, your Arkansas duck hunt mornings and all that. It's you line up at the gate, they let you go at 5, and you just see lights sprinting everywhere. And you drive out, so when we did it, I was in the front seat. I wasn't wearing waders. I had on shorts and no socks or tennis shoes. And I knew what spot I wanted to go to and I wanted us to get to. And we were the 4th truck in line. All 3 trucks went to the same spot. And I was like,
no.
I'm going to have to catch them. And, me fat and out of shape, that ain't good. But what advantage I did have was they all had waders on, and they weren't willing to get out there without waders on like I was. And I was able to pass 3 of them. And I got the second. The guy out there in front of me was like an all-American cross-country runner at his college.
Oh, no.
And because we knew them actually, and after the fact, I was like, yeah, that's the only reason he beat me. I was trying to make myself feel better. That's the only reason he beat me. But no, we got the second best spot, and we smashed them pretty good. I think we shot like 48.
That's cool.
But if early teal season, if you want to shoot birds in this area, you either go South Texas or South Louisiana, that's where the real teal hunts early season are. I've had some people in Kansas and Oklahoma that I know that kill them, but I don't chase them near as hard as I do, like the big ducks, I guess.
Right.
But no, I would say that if you want to go on a banger early teal season hunt, you want to go South Texas, South Louisiana, and I know people down there that every day they go. It's just, all right, well, we shot another 6, man. All right, well, we shot another one. It's
Wow.
like we got more meat we know what to do with.
Now, do you guys, you're all hunters, and do you guys get out and get out for dove sieving at all there?
Oh, yes.
I know dove's a big thing in Texas, but talk about it.
We love dove season, man. That is what better way to kick off a hunting season than sitting in shorts and a t-shirt in a lawn chair, not having to hide or worry about anything, with a couple Dove Mojos, an ice cold or a cooler full of ice cold beer, and shooting dove. Like,
Yeah.
A lot of people are like, "Oh, alcohol and guns don't mix." Well, I can drink, 6, 7 beers and still be plenty capable of being full control of myself.
For sure.
That's right.
So that's man, we look forward to that every year. Like, I'm pretty sure Cody planted his one of his big pastures this year and some stuff for us, and we're gonna take full advantage of that. But West Texas is another story. I'd say that's the Argentina of the US.
Wow.
That's awesome.
But
man.
last year we shot like over 2,000 dove out of one field.
Wow.
Holy
So-
cow.
Nuts, dude.
That
But-
is so fun.
But Dry Creek, them guys, I don't know if you follow Dry Creek,
I don't
but
know.
Rusty and them, they're known for dove hunting, and they shoot the ever-loving crap out of dove.
Wow. Wow, that's awesome, man. Yeah, I'll have to give them a follow.
Yeah, they kill the heck out of dove, man. And Austin and Hunter and them do out there at Dust Devil where I was at last year, they shoot the heck out of the dove. I mean, we look for any chance to kill something flying, especially when you can wrap them in bacon on a jalapeno and cream cheese and eat it.
Yeah, we've never really spent too much time dove hunting, but like when we were scouting this place in Georgia for teal last summer, guys were out there dove hunting, and like, you know, I don't even think I heard them and this was like a planted, you know, they had sunflowers out there, like a WMA managed thing, and I didn't even hear anybody shoot. I don't think, and it's
no.
I don't know if Georgia has a good dove hunting scene or not. I don't know.
Yeah, well, at least where we were, they just the guys I talked to, they were just like, well, there's all this food here, but there's no doves. And they're like, what are you doing? We're like, we're scouting for early teal, and they're like, for what? Because a lot of people don't even know what a teal is, you know. I mean, guys have been dove hunting all their life, and they've never been out on a teal hunt, you know. So but no, I figured you guys probably smoked them big time out there.
Oh, dude, we love it. We love it. But I feel like, you know, you saying there's all this food here and there's no birds. I feel like that's what everybody here in East Texas has said the last like 3 or 4 duck seasons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't even partake in East Texas anymore, or even Southwest Arkansas anymore. I mean, we just there's no reason to. We've traveled and we've found other places that are abundant, and the pressure is very low in the areas. Now, granted, you got the people that are going to be like, well, that's what makes it fun, all the pressure. You got to be really good to kill them. Well, I grew up with hunting pressured birds and having to do it the hard way and everything. So I'm going to go where it's less pressured and there's more ducks, even if I have to drive 30 hours. Like, it's one of those things, like, I'm going to go up there, stay for 6 days. I'm going to kill my birds. I'm going to eat them. And then I'm going to bring whatever I can legally home. And I'm going to have a blast doing it.
See, me and Tony kind of are like different sides of the fence on that. 'Cause I'm more like, I guess it's kind of the inner deer hunter in us, like originally, but he likes, you know, kind of the competitive kind of thing, you know, not in like a harmful way, of course, but you know, the kind of friendly competition of public land. And I'm kind of like, man,
I will kick your ass.
I don't like the stress of it, man. I like to get, you know, I like to have a good game plan, and the less people, like, competition wise, I'm about.
Oh, dude, I mean, like last year, you know, Tristan and I, we were at a famous boat ramp, and I'm not even gonna say where it's at in Arkansas, but everybody that duck hunts a lot knows where you're at. And and we showed up. We decided we're going to get out there and set up on the line. And we're going to get out there like 9:30 at night before, which isn't too crazy. I mean, I've been out there 2 days before, you know, whatever. We go out there, bro. We were the only truck in the parking lot. And I was blown away. I was like, are you serious right now? And so the whole time, you know, it's a little pins and needles. You're like, when's the next boat showing up? When's the next boat showing up? And we're out on this public river, and we set up on a line. And of course, we couldn't enter into the public land until, you know, how Arkansas is, you know, different areas. So you can't cross that line. So we slept out there, and all of it leads up to it. And I just, this past year, I picked up a War Eagle 750 Gladiator, and I got running a 40 XD on it. And bro, to me, there was nothing more satisfying than these guys trying to chase my tail. And they kept coming up. They had an outboard. They kept trying to get around me. And bro, we came into a tree that was about, God, it was a giant dead cottonwood tree. And I ramped my boat over the top of that. And I turned around and looked at him, and I said, later, boys. I mean, to me, like Tristan was saying, I love that kind of stuff. Not all the time, but it's fun.
Yeah, it is. It is fun. It's one of those moments. It's one of those moments of self gratification, you know.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. It'd be like, all right, well, I just spent all this money on this boat for today.
Yeah. Like, this is the only reason I got this boat. Yes, and thank God it worked out.
That one time, yep.
For sure. And that actually kind of leads me into what another thing I was gonna ask you, Zane, is you know, talk about some of the stuff that you're big on, whether it be guns, your boat, ammo, whatever it might be that you're really passionate about, gear wise. And you know, do you get, like, if you different boat setups and what you guys run or whatever.
Yeah, so I'll start on the gun department, and I'm way different than everybody in our group. I'm the 20 gauge shooter in our group. I shoot it because it's lighter. I mean, it's stupid light. You know, you give somebody that gun after they've been shooting a 12 gauge all morning, they're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And I got a Rob Roberts custom M2 Benelli 20 gauge, and it's sweet. It's light. I mean, I shoot the T3 choke out of it, and I mean, I shoot birds just as far and kill them dead as that 12 gauge does.
Wow.
You know, no kick, anything like that. And I mean, I shot geese with it this past season. I shot cranes with it. I shot everything with it. And I mean, I think I made Dylan a believer right around New Year's last year. We were in Oklahoma and we were hunting, and we had this greenhead come in, and for whatever reason, my gun clicked the first 2 times, and it is one of those things. I guess something got in the shells, you know, or something was wrong with having gritty gun. It was probably the gritty gun part, because I probably didn't clean it. It was just be honest.
Right.
But the first 2 times it clicked, and I ratcheted the shells back, lost those 2 shells, and I ratcheted another one in there, and the bird was probably about 65 yards at this point, you know, going away from me. And I shot and folded it like it was dead. And Dylan looked at me and was like, did you shoot that? Because he thought maybe Lana pulled up and shot a Hail Mary and killed it. And because I mean, she's shooting a 12 gauge with, you know, an extended choke on it and everything. And she was, and I was like, yeah, that was me. And he was like, are you serious? He said, Lana, you didn't shoot? And she was like, no, that was him. He goes, that was that 20 gauge. And I said, yes. He was like, that's impressive.
No kidding.
And I feel pretty passionate about that, because I mean, anybody that's like me that hunts, you know, 70 plus days a season and whatever, you know, 12 gauge is fine. Shoot 12 gauge if you want, but I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm gonna be out there shooting that 20 gauge every time, because it's lighter and less kick and all that. I mean, just to me it is. And you know, people can call me a baby all they want, but hey, that's fine. My shoulder ain't gonna be sore at all.
I'm with you on the 20 gauge, man. I don't have one, but I've shot a couple. And the other thing I'm looking at is like wanting to get my fiance out and duck hunt and stuff, and having something that, you know, if she went, you know, would be it'd be no issue at all for her to shoot, obviously. And like you said, they're so light and stuff. And yeah, that's next gun I get is going to be a 20 gauge, I think.
Yeah, dude, you won't be disappointed. I'll tell you that. I love them.
Well, you know, it's a very similar analogy to, like, you know, I grew up as a bow hunter, right? And, you know, everybody always says, oh, you got to shoot 80 pounds, you know, you got to shoot.
Yeah.
Bro, you really only need about 35 or 40. That's all you need. And, you know, Ted Nugent's big about it. You know, he doesn't shoot over, I think, shoots 50 pounds still today. And he always has, because that's plenty, you know. It's just kind of the same concept, really. I mean, why do you need all that firepower, you know, and when you can get the job done with this? And it is less weight, too. It does make a difference.
That less weight definitely makes a difference, especially sorry, excuse me.
No, you're good.
But it definitely makes a difference swinging, you know, in trees and everything like that, too. But then I guess that leads me into the shells, and, you know, we're with Migra. I mean, I'd shoot the Migra 2.4, 3-inch out of the 20 gauge. And like I said, I've shot geese and cranes with it, killed them dead. Wow. No problem all year. You know, that's what we've been shooting. Everybody switched over to Migra last year. Nice. They came on and I guess believed in us enough to help us out and, you know, let us shoot some shells of theirs. Now I think we've made a pretty good decision on that. I like them. I like them a lot. You know, I mean, I feel like anybody, you can go out there and shoot them with a Winchester if you want to, but I really feel like those Migra, the 2 and 4 shot, I just don't know that you could get a better shell for the price, you know, like, you know, Boston, all that supposedly is really good, but golly, they're expensive.
Right.
And I mean, to me, like justifying shooting, you know, a shell that costs that much, you know, per shell at a bird that I know I can kill just as good with another shell that, you know, is less expensive. it's harder for me to justify doing that,
Yeah, no, I feel you.
So I kind of feel really strongly about the Migra. I believe in it. I've transformed my dad into, how hard it is, Tristan, to get your dad to switch something when they're setting their ways.
For sure.
Especially,
oh my gosh.
especially, I'm not calling you old, Tony, but them older guys, then they're setting their ways.
Yep. It's true.
Hard. It's hard to get you to switch, and it's hard to get you to change.
For sure.
I let him shoot some of them, and he was like, "Oh my god." that was great, and I was like, "Yeah, it's a lot better than a Winchester 2 3/4 2-shot."
Yeah, yeah.
He's been one of those guys his whole life. Yeah, he's been one of those his whole life. Oh, all you need is 2 3/4. All you need is 2 3/4. All that other stuff's just crap. Oh, it's just crap. So
that's awesome.
I got him on that. Now, like he buys Migra by the case and all that. But I will tell you, we do still get in arguments because he's the dad. I'm just the dumb kid, whatever.
Right.
He tries to tell me how we need to hunt and everything, and I'm like, Dad, I said, frankly, with all due respect, me saying this, I've done pretty good without you being on my back for the last few years. And he's like, well, I'll go right out here to where we always hunt. I'll kill him just as good. And I look at him and say, please go do it. Please do it and let me see it. I said, well, the day you do that, pigs are flying.
Yeah. You're like, hey, I wouldn't be driving 25, 30 hours if that were the case.
No doubt. No doubt.
If you've hunted with us out there, folks, any of y'all that have been out there with us, you will say the only reason why I want to go hunt with Tristan and Tony the next time is to watch them get at each other's throat. Because
we do, man.
We do, and it's just it's all for the good. It's all for the good. You know what I mean? The motivation and the reasons are the same. It's just sometimes you don't see eye to eye, and I'm like, bro, somebody drown that kid right now. Drown him.
Zane, this quick story real quick. So a couple years ago, Tony had back surgery. Sorry. And he's first duck hunt after it was like the opening of the second part of the split in Florida.
It was your birthday.
It was my birthday, and he's like hurting out there, and we're setting up the decoys and stuff, and it's a place where all the birds are checked after the hunt, so you can figure out what was killed or whatever. And we kind of you can't scout it, so it's kind of like it's a quota area, so you're kind of like, all right, well, this is what was killed, so that's what we're going to put out in the decoy spread. So I was like, hey, we're going to put out those green wing decoys because a bunch of them were shot, and he forgot that a bunch of them were shot, and was just his back was messed up and stuff, and just flipped his shit on me. We're not putting any green wing teal decoys out. And I'm like, what do you mean, dude? They slaughtered them last week.
Well, generally speaking, if you're in Florida, when somebody says I'm hunting teal, you're hunting blue wing teal. Right. I mean, that's just, and you see the green wings later on, and you get some, but he's like, are we going to put them out? I'm like, hey, we ain't gonna. Oh man. But in that same actual hunt, I went out, and this is the day after I had an arthroscopic surgery. It was a discectomy in my back, and they had to go in and take out a piece of my disc, and we're out there, and this bird comes flying by at like the slowest a bird can fly without falling out of the sky. And it comes to my right, and they're like, Dad. He's like, Dad, shoot. Dad, shoot. Dad. And I go, what? I go, I saw his eye. And he goes, you saw his eye and you didn't shoot?
Yeah.
And I go, yeah, I guess. But I was still recovering, and I don't know if I was in some kind of daze from the medication.
Yeah, I think so.
but it was a great.
That's what you need to tell yourself.
Yeah.
No, but the one thing that we slightly touch on here, and I think it's a great point to bring back up that we had in a podcast a couple episodes back, and that is, it is so important, older guys, to listen to anybody about. Don't be stuck in your ways, man. I mean, you need to be listening to what people that are more passionate or have had more opportunity to learn from other people that know the sport better than you, to always be teachable.
Absolutely.
It's so important.
And I think, that's kind of how I go into everything. I always say, you don't know what you don't know. And I know it's kind of silly to put it that way, but I mean, you don't know what you don't know.
Sure,
and
it's
if you're
true.
not, if you're not willing to listen to someone else, even if you think it's dumb, question it, like don't tell them they're wrong, but I mean, question what they're saying and then kind of look up on it. And then when you understand why what they're saying is right or true, then be like, okay, well, now I learned something new.
Yeah.
Right.
And I mean, that's, being teachable in any aspect of life is very good, but especially hunting, man. Cause I mean, there's so many tips and tricks that other people have thought of that you haven't. And, I mean, even like myself, I tell myself that all the time. Like, when somebody says, well, why don't we do this? I always make sure I assess it and be like, all right, have I ever tried that? And then if I have and it didn't work, then I can be like, oh, well, yeah, we did do this at one point, whatever, it didn't work. But, we'll keep that in mind today if, if stuff isn't going our way. But I mean, being teachable in any aspect is good, especially just hunting though, because there's so many different ways to do it. There's not one quote unquote right way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But there is one way to have respect and etiquette, in my opinion.
Yep.
But other than that, hunting, you can be successful hunting so many different ways.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, that's just
and Zane, you guys see this too, and it's something that we had to. Honestly, I didn't really predict when I was getting into this. Is we grew up in the marshes of Florida and the coastal areas of Georgia and stuff, and that's where we know how to smoke them. I mean, we're damn good at it. All right, but when we went to the Arkansas timber for the first time, I wanted to go home like a baby. I mean, really, we got our asses kicked.
Yeah.
I mean, we really did, and we recorded 2 episodes about it. But it's so cool when you go to different parts of the country and learn how different people do it. And I've said this is that there's experts in every area of the country that you go to.
Oh, yeah.
And it's so intriguing to me when you go to a new area and you learn, like this past year is my first spec hunt. I went on that, and dude, I had no idea I could experience a waterfowl in that way. I had no idea, because before that, I grew up in the Midwest. I knew one kind of goose, and that's honk honk. I mean, and they come flying in a V and bam bam bam, right? Not this circling, get to it, come on, get down here, let's go. But it's so cool to learn what you learn from different locals and different states and areas of how to really be a successful duck hunter.
I agree. I mean, and I kind of saw that firsthand a few years ago when me and Cody decided to kind of, just go out on a trail somewhere, and we hit it on the head. We had a buddy from college, or I had a buddy from college hit me up. He's not a duck hunter, but he knows that. He's like, well, I see ducks here, but I don't know anything. He's like, I'm a big game hunter, and he's like, but I want to go if y'all come. And I was like, well, we didn't get to go to Canada, so let's just say screw it and go. And we left 2:30 a.m. on Saturday morning, my house, got to the boat ramp at the other place at 3:30 a.m. the next morning, drove straight through.
Wow.
Got to the boat ramp, put the boat in. My buddy was like, all right, I always see them over here. So I was like, okay, well, let's go. And like I said, it's public land.
Sure.
We don't see another boat out there. So I was like, hey, are we sure it's duck season? And so I looked it up, and sure enough, it was, and we were kind of just like baffled, and I mean, we shot our birds and shot 28 mallards that first morning, and
wow.
Then we did it again for like the next 4 or 5 days. And
wow.
like I said, we kind of just stumbled upon that, and we met a guy through social media up there that he's hunted there for like 10, 12 years, and he knew kind of the game to it. And he kind of helped us out with some tips on decoy spreads and how we need to, be loud on calls and, everything like that. And we did it, and man, it sure enough, it's totally different than what we do down here. Cause I mean, down here at the bottom of the flyway, you put out a lot of decoys, but you don't really put out spinners past, Christmas. And then the calling, you try to be quieter in the calling, later in the year. But up there, you got 6 spinners out, 7 spinners, you got 5 dozen decoys, and you're blowing the call, and you're calling them to the water.
Heck
That's
yeah.
awesome.
And, I mean, you're shooting birds with eggshell on their head still. But I mean, you call them to the water, because if you let off of them, they'll turn and go. They don't care. They're not intrigued anymore. But if you call them to the water, they're coming. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. They're coming.
Wow.
But yeah, like you said, like we learned that real quick. Like there's no reason to act like one way is going to get it done. Because I mean, up there, if you tried to hunt the way we hunt down here, it might not work out for you up there. But I got to see that firsthand, like you said. It's crazy to see, like you said, the experts in different areas that do it, the best in those areas, and learn from them and just kind of be like, wow, that would never work where I'm from.
Right. Yeah, it's just like the whole coot controversy, It's I mean, we went to go hunt Arkansas, and we talked with our friends out there. We're like, bro, what are you talking about? I don't mean to just beat the coot thing in the ground, but it's the truth. I mean, it's like I would not let anybody hunt in the South without coots.
Yeah,
I just wouldn't. It's a guarantee. You're smoking ducks. So.
Yeah, we don't even do that over in our area. Like we don't ever put out coot decoys or anything. Because I mean, yeah, we got coots, but I mean, we don't have them. We don't have enough of them for it to make a difference. And really, the mallards don't even like, from what I've seen, don't even like to be around.
Right.
Yeah.
In our area.
Yeah.
But I get that. Like you said, like it's so different. Like if you put me over there on the East Coast and told me to go shoot birds, I wouldn't. I would have no idea where to start or what to do, because I've never hunted sea ducks. I've never, the only thing that I probably could do over there is just shoot the wood ducks. I mean, that's simple. I mean, that's simple no matter what. You're shooting flybys. But I mean, you're not going to decoy wood ducks, and other people are like, "Oh, you can decoy wood ducks." Well, I don't know. Do y'all decoy them, or do you shoot them by the flyby?
Well, the only time that I've seen them, like, and it wasn't, I wouldn't even call it decoying. I would call it, we were set up exactly where we saw them the day before, and they were landing on our heads.
Yeah, they were.
There was nothing to it. I don't know that you can call them though, or decoy them.
Put it this way: we were on the Wood Duck X. That we all shot one, and on our way to retrieve the one we shot, we limited it out. That's what happened with every one of us, and we were just like, "Well, that was all right." So what do we do the rest of the morning? But that was fun.
But, I mean, yeah, that's one of those things. Like, if you put me on the East Coast, I'd probably just sit there and twiddle my thumbs, honestly. But I mean, other than that, I mean. And it is crazy. I have to agree that, when you sit there and think about how everybody hunts all over the U.S. and everything, and how different it can be, it's pretty wild to think about.
I tell you what, though, man, sometime y'all need to try the sea duck thing just for something different to experience. Yeah, man, it's so interesting, because it's like, it's almost like you're going like inshore fishing or offshore fishing or something. It's the weirdest experience, man. And like, divers have this reputation, as you know, as being like so dumb, and it's so true. Like, oh my gosh, like buffleheads, and they're just the dumbest birds ever. And it's pretty fun for different.
It is. Like, if you want to go like put some pun on some ducks, buffleheads are the ones that do it too. Because I just heard people talking about it, and we took my boat out there, and we're in this inlet, dude. I mean, it's just all salt water. I mean, there's starfish underneath you and all this stuff, and we're like, all right, get all the palm fronds up so we can camo in the boat. Dude, we didn't even have to really, honestly, next time I go, I'm just going to stand out there in an orange vest and just smoke buffleheads.
That's funny, man.
Oh, man.
But, so, off the thing we were just talking about, what was your all's favorite hunt last year? I got to hear about that. I have an idea that I know what you're going to tell, because I think you told me it before, but.
Man, my favorite one? Man. There was some good ones last year. I think, though, other than the 70, just because of shooting 70 mallards in a band in one hunt, that's wild. I think the one that was my favorite was when Lana actually, like, we split up scouting, and Lana had found a pond that she couldn't even put a number on how many mallards were on it. And I told her, hey, you're going to have to go talk to this person. I was like, because they're not going to text me back and they're not going to call me, because I found out who owned it and I called them already. And then, the voicemail, it led me believe that it was an older lady. And I was like, yeah, she's not going to talk to some, 26-year-old guy about hunting her property.
Right.
So I said, this is her address. Go knock on her door, talk to her, tell her that, there's 4 or 5 of us, and, we're going to hunt in the morning. Just ask her if it's possible for us to pay her to go hunt. Well, she gets up there, and then, 30 minutes goes by, and I still haven't got a text from Landon. I'm like, what the heck?
Uh-huh.
So me and my buddy that I was with, we decided to just eat some dinner. I was like, well, it's getting later. Surely, hopefully she's okay. If we have to go look for her, we know where to start.
Yeah.
So then she finally calls me, and she's excited, like pumped up. Like, she's like, oh my God, that was awesome. Like, she loved me, and she thought I was, so pretty and this and that, and talked to me about hunting. And she was like, this is awesome that, you came and found me. She's like, but it's kind of creepy at the same time. She's like, how did you get my address from that? And Lana explained everything to her with all the apps and, all that. And she was like, oh, okay. Well, she's like, well, I have to think about it. She's like, people ask me all the time, but I just never have done it, and all that. And then, so Lana and her just sat there and talked for, another 30 minutes. And she got my number. She was like, oh, well, I already have your boyfriend's number. He texted me. So, I'll text him here in a minute and we'll talk about it. So anyways, about 45 minutes of nerve-wracking talking between us goes on. Because if we don't get to hunt that in the morning, I told him I had zero confidence. I was like, because, we found a few birds, but we didn't find, we found like 200 or 300 birds on a spot. And I wasn't confident with that amount of number. And I wasn't just thrilled about hunting it, So
right.
It was one of those things where it was my anxiety and the anticipation was through the roof. So then I get a text from another number, and it's her grandson. And he texts me, he's like, hey, I hear y'all are trying to hunt my grandma's pond tomorrow, this and that, just going on with it. And I was like, yeah, man, you're more than welcome to go, all that. Because I was like, well, hell, I'm sure he hunts, seeing as how that pond's loaded with mallards.
Right.
And he's like, I've never really duck hunted. He's like, I don't have a shotgun or a license or anything. And I said, well, how about this? I said, I got an extra shotgun for you. I said, I'll buy your license, and I got shells you can shoot. And he was like, oh, okay. Well, another problem is I don't have a vehicle right now because I just totaled mine. And, I live and he was like, I live about an hour and a half away from that pond. And I was like, that's fine. We'll come pick you up in the morning. And he was like, well, all right, I guess let's get it then. And I was like, yes. I was like, perfect. Right. So we go and get, we've never met this guy. We've just talked on the phone. I go and pick up this 21-year-old guy that I've never met. He's like, I didn't realize how big he was. He walked out that morning at like 4 a.m. and was like 6'5", 220 pounds. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, where'd they build you at? Yeah. And anyways, we just hit it off right from the beginning. He really liked us. We really liked him. And, I bought his license on the way there. We set out the decoys. We got there, and birds just, I guess they were roosting in there too, which, normally I don't like to hunt, where the birds are roosting, but I didn't know they were roosting there. I knew they were hitting it as a transition between a cornfield and the river. So I figured they were roosting on the river, but sure enough, they were roosting right there. So, I couldn't even put a number on how many birds got up out of there that morning. And, we're throwing decoys out, and I have mallards landing within 5 yards of me because we have the truck light. We have the truck lights on the water, and there's birds landing right beside us. And I'm just like, this is about to be ridiculous. And,
wow.
First light comes, and there's birds everywhere, and he's having a great time. And, he kept asking me, he's like, man, why aren't we shooting some of these birds? And I was like, well, because they're not in the decoys. He's like, well, I could shoot them easy. They're treetop high. And I'm like, yeah, well, that's not how you do it. The game is to finish the birds. When you finish them, then you shoot them. Because, that's one, it's the most ethical way. Two, it's going to give you the best opportunity to make a clean kill and not, let the birds suffer and all that. So I explained all that to him and everything. And then he just kept asking me. He was so like enthused to learn about it because he was having such a good time. And then, we shot 25 greenheads. We shot our 5-man. And it was one of those things that was awesome. We made a relationship with him, and then we actually have their pond leased for this season for clients.
Wow.
And yeah, so like that one hunt right there, and taking that guy hunting and all that led us to have dinner with the grandma and his mom, and some of their family, and I mean, we ate dinner with them, we hung out with them, we got it leased, and they were, we told them, hey, anything y'all need, let us know, and they were like vice versa. And I mean, it was one of those things that I think that was my favorite hunt, because not only did Lana find it and get the permission on it and everything for us, and not only did it work out, but it led into a relationship that's going to be beneficial for us and them moving forward.
Right,
Man.
right, yeah, and it'll last a lifetime.
That's one of the coolest stories I've ever heard. That's awesome, man.
And it was by chance, dude. Like, so like, it's funny because me and my buddy were scouting, and I called Lana and I was like, hey, where y'all at? I was like, I'm going to get you to run up here. And she's like, well, we kind of gave up. We hadn't seen much, and we're hungry, so we're eating. And I said, gave up? I was like, what do you mean? And she's like, well, we're eating, and I'm going to have a drink, and Jamie's going to have a drink. And I'm like, excuse me? I'm not trying to tell you what you're going to do, but you're about to get back out there and start scouting. I was like, if we're going to be out here driving our butts around trying to find birds, y'all are going to be doing the same thing, not giving up. So I sent her a few pins, and I was like, hey, go up here in this area. And, that pond was one of the ones that I didn't even pin. So if I wouldn't have called them, who knows? It might not ever happened either.
Right. Wow. That's so wild.
Man, it's funny to think, like, you always hear the thing, duck hunters are crazy. And it's like, if you were to tell this story and not tell them that ducks were involved in it, and be like, yeah, we just, we met this lady and started talking to her, never met her before, found her online through an app, and went and picked up her grandson an hour and a half away. Like, if you just told that whole story, like, without any of the context, people would be like, what in the hell are you talking about?
They'd be like, oh, these guys are nuts.
Yeah,
they've lost their mind.
Yeah. Well, cool, man. Well, this has been awesome, Zane, and I wanted to see, so where can everybody find you guys on, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all that stuff?
Instagram is at Loaded Timber Waterfowl. It's just I think all our handles are at Loaded Timber Waterfowl. I think I tried to do that so it was easy to find us on all platforms, but actually TikTok is just at Loaded Timber, because we've been banned about 10 different times. I've had to change the name.
I know how that is.
And then I think Facebook is just Loaded Timber Waterfowl. And then YouTube is the Loaded Timber Waterfowl channel, which right now we don't have, but I think 2 videos on there. I mean, we haven't, like I said, we've kind of neglected YouTube, and that's why I'm saying this year we're going to change and do more on that than we do anything else. But as far as everything goes, socials go, it's pretty much either at Loaded Timber Waterfowl or at Loaded Timber.
Nice.
Awesome.
Well, we appreciate you coming on, man, and just appreciate what you guys do, and like we were talking about earlier, how personable you guys are and stuff, and it's kind of led to this podcast, really, us talking the last few years on social media, and this will be out, if people are listening, it really won't matter, it'll be out in the morning, but yeah, man, this is awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, we look forward to getting out there and hunting with you guys sometime.
Well, I truly appreciate it. y'all letting me come on here and just talk. And I'm telling you, if it was up to me, I'd talk to everybody in the world. But some people wouldn't like it. But dude, I appreciate it a lot. I appreciate all the kind words and everything. And
Yes,
we like what y'all are doing as well. And like I said, just get my number, Tony. And if you want to come on one of them vet hunts, just let me know, and we'll get that nailed down.
Well, I appreciate it. You guys keep up with great work, man. The message is awesome, and it's inspirational to anybody out there to watch what you guys are doing. And I'm thankful that we were able to get you guys on the show, or get you on the show today.
Well, I appreciate that.
Alrighty, guys. Well, thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Zero Duck 30 podcast. You can find us on everything at Zero Duck 30, and we'll see you guys next time.
I've been southbound, I've been hellbound, riding on the midnight train. Going too fast now, think